Hey, Pastor, if you're facing growth challenges right now, you're trying to figure out how to scale, how to align your staff, and really how to get after the work that God's called you to do in that community, we would love to come alongside you. And I want you to know, we just opened up a brand new mastermind specifically for churches under 500. And if that's interesting to you, go to readysetgrow.church to find out more information and see if this is a fit for your journey right now. Hi, my friends. Welcome back to the Breaking 1000 podcast. I am your host, Mark Brewer, and back by popular demand, Jesse Anderson.
Thank
with
you.
me.
It's good to be back.
We really are glad you're back.
Yeah,
and I've got Scott Wilson here with us as well. We had previously done an episode about how to unlock the power of your strategic partner, otherwise known as your assistant, your administrative assistant. But one of the things that we didn't do, we focus a lot on the framework, but what we didn't do is talk about how to personalize that journey for the lead pastor, the visionary leader. And we'd like to do that today because it is a little bit different on this side to begin to navigate through bringing this person to a place where they are a partner for you.
I think it's very important in this conversation because you know how many pastors I talk to who, some of them, they go, I had a bad experience and I didn't know how to handle it, and so I just don't even need one. I'm going to do everything. Then secondly, it's people like, I have one, I don't even know what to do with them. I mean, it's just awkward for so many, and I think this is a big deal because once you get this right, it's like, how did I ever live without this?
Yeah, I think it's really important to recap a little bit of what we talked about. You have an executive pastor or a leadership team or an associate pastor, whatever you have, who's helping you to do the ministry of the organization. Right. What we're talking about when we say strategic partner is somebody who's helping you. What is on your plate? And we've really got to unlock our thinking around this because oftentimes, for whatever reason, pastors just are like, I don't know how to leverage what's there. I hope and I wish, and I guess I would just hope that you could help me more. I don't know how to help you. The suggestions you're giving are not helping me. So how do I unlock this? And what we said in the other episode is really that context is really what helps to unlock that superpower.
So it's information.
It's information. And if there's a greater partnership and communication, then the assistant is able to go, now hang on a second. I know this is important to you. So do you want to be doing this? Yeah. And there is, we also just introduced the idea of you don't have to change things automatically right now. I think a frame that's very safe is pastor, leader with your assistant. Can we do a little experiment and evaluate for 30 days? Can we follow a regular rhythm of sharing more context, having more conversation, and what can that unlock? But I think it is helpful in this episode to talk about how does that feel? What are some of the working assumptions that we have to challenge? Because for a leader, sometimes they just think, I'm telling you, I hear what you're saying, but my assistant can't do this. I've talked to I don't know how many assistants and how many different contexts who go, I know I can help more. And I'm just in a place where I'm just doing tasks because that's all I'm given context for.
The reason why I'm laughing is because one of the coolest, funniest stories I ever heard from John Maxwell and Linda Eggers, who was his assistant for, it still is, I mean, forever. And Linda is like, for most pastors, when they hear John talk about Linda, it's just like, golly, if I had that. So Linda told me one time, she goes, I was sitting with this pastor one time, and he goes, I'd give anything if I had a Linda. If I had a Linda, I could do this. I could do great things if I had a Linda. You know, my assistant isn't like you. And she goes, well, you know what's interesting is she's probably talking to somebody right now and saying, if I had a John, if I just had a John Maxwell, if I had somebody who knew how to delegate, if I had somebody who knew how to lead with me and partner with me. And he goes, well, that might be true.
So it is really then it really is then an understanding that this can be framed, this can be developed. It's not necessarily that you walk into this and both of you are intuitive.
That's right.
You have to build it.
That's right. It is interesting from the leader side. I guess I will just say I'll empathize with this because we think this sounds like more work. I don't know how much context to give. They're not my associate or executive pastor. And I'm just not convinced based on what I've seen that they're going to be able to bring this. And there's also, maybe there's something in your head, which is, I don't want to burden them with more.
That's what I struggled with the whole time.
I just want them to do this and just like, I don't want to do this or that or the other. But there's so much more.
There is.
So much more is possible if you unlock that.
But it does take some amount of an extended trust to try on this, because I think especially at the lead pastor role, you're asking for someone to trust your mind and your heart and your thoughts, and you're wondering, can they carry that? Because sometimes that's where the big bucks is can they carry the load of this type of information? And I know you had to navigate through that, and you've had a number of administrative assistants over the years. Maybe you could use that as a springboard to talk about some of your experiences around that.
Well, I think first of all, when you're just saying, I don't want to, just pour all this stuff on them that I could do and all this. Listen, there's a difference between dumping and delegating. And so I am in total agreement that if you don't learn how to set your assistant up as a strategic partner, then all you're doing is saying, this is stuff I don't want to do, and you dump it on them. Okay? So, or, hey, this is whatever it is. Dumping is not a good thing.
Right.
So I think good in your heart, Pastor, that you're saying, I just don't want to overload them and dump on them. Okay, don't dump, delegate. Delegate's different. Delegation is you're looking at them and their strengths that they can help you with.
Yes.
You have meetings of conversations. Part of delegation is also a process of learning with each other that says, hey, let me teach you how to write like me so you can write in my voice. And we're talking, so then I'm going to write it and discuss with you what I wrote, why I wrote, how I wrote. And then you're learning. Then the next time, how about you write? And then let me give you feedback on how you wrote and say, hey, I love how you did here. Let me tell you why I would change this, how I would change this, And then we keep doing that until you got it. And I'm going like, man, that's great. Let's go. But what we try to do is just say, I wish you could write for me, but you don't know how to write like me.
So then I'm not going to get you to write for me.
I'm not going to do it, or I'm going to dump on it and say, you can't do it.
And so what I am hearing is initially there might be a little bit more time investment in kind of that no man's land.
100%.
But within a pretty quick timeline, you're now going to be able to capture.
You're empowering them, so it's going to move from, I don't have time for all that interaction. Well, but if you do take the time here, then you've gotten all this time on the other side.
I think it's important to have a mindset shift here about this role, because let's take this. If you had a ministry leader that you were just simply being reactive to and dumping stuff, and they were only doing what you said, I don't think a lot of pastors would be happy with a ministry leader doing that. What do they want them to do? They want them thinking like the pastor thinks. They want them proactively doing stuff that the pastor's like, I didn't even see that. They're in the weeds of it. But there's a mindset shift that's important, which is a lot of pastors aren't thinking about their assistants in that way. And so they're missing it. It also, maybe this is strong language, it tends to be a sort of developmental dead end for assistants. The assistant is not always the one who's going to a conference, going through something like the Admin Challenge curriculum, having opportunities to connect with other admins. So they're just in a pool where this is all you think, this is all you can get. And you're like, listen, I'm fine. I don't need any more. Just do the basic things that I need. So you're not thinking, how do I stretch them? How do I develop them? How do I get more? But if we were to think of them as a ministry partner 100%. In a different way, totally different game change. Like, again, you would never just with a ministry leader go, I'm comfortable with me just giving you check boxes and you doing the work. But I think we undervalue what this role can be for you as the pastor, and not just to help you and not just to take, some burden off of you, but to free you up for the things that you can only do. You know what my favorite executive assistant job description is my job is to serve and support my leader and clear the path so that they can do what only they can do.
100%.
So how do we get more from the assistant so we can get more from you as the pastor?
It's the greatest thing. It's the greatest thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
To be able to disciple, develop, to help, to expand, to say you're not just, this isn't a bad thing to be a secretary, but you're not just somebody who's typing things up for me or filing things for me or setting up appointments for me. I want you to be a strategic partner with me, that you know, like the people that I know, I want to tell you, hey, let me tell you who this person is, why they're important, how this relationship, this is what I need to do in this relationship. So that they're learning when that person calls, they say, hey, Pastor so-and-so, how are you doing? How's your family? Hey, their assistant, they're getting to know the assistant. I want you to anticipate, how can you build relationship with that assistant so that when I'm saying I need to do this, you're calling and they go, okay, this is Brittany. I'm going to handle it. I mean, you get it? That's powerful.
What were some of the challenges? If you could look back, I'm seeing all the faces of your administrative assistants over the years, and then you as a person and as a leader. Were there some specific challenges or hurdles you had to personally get over in order to move into this realm of really empowering?
Well, first of all, in the interviewing process, let me just start back there, because it's like, how do you even get the right person? Because anytime it didn't work for me, it was really that I thought, I just need somebody to work with me. I don't know that I really have to like them. Well, that doesn't even, or it doesn't work.
That's right.
I mean, there's too much interaction there.
It's a good call out.
In other words, if I like you, but you're underperforming or it's not working right, I at least like you and I want to work with you to do it.
That's right.
If I don't like you and you're even doing it perfect, I'm still going, well, they're doing the job, but man, they just get on my nerves.
And you're going to start avoiding
It's
them.
not going to work. And so it has to, when you're talking about competency and character, you also have got to talk about chemistry.
That's right.
So I think probably the biggest places I missed it was chemistry didn't matter. And it does matter a lot. Secondly, on the interview, let me just say this as a warning, because sometimes people go, we're not talking about this, but I think it's important. It's cliche, but it's the whole deal of, oh, did he have an affair with his assistant? Okay, this type of deal. If it's a female and it's a male pastor, or there's a relationship like this. Now, I know this is like, that's not in our deal here. Well, I want to put it there because I never interviewed an assistant who was a female ever that Jenny wasn't involved. That's my wife. She is always involved in that.
Yes.
I also, even if it is my assistant, we have protocol of how we're meeting together, how that works, windows on the doors,
100%.
all these type of deals. And so it has to be that they see themselves as serving not just me, but they're serving me and Jenny.
That's right.
They're serving as a relationship. Doesn't mean, and by the way, you can have a strategic partner in ministry. Some pastors even have, and I know we're kind of getting up there, but they might have that where they also have a personal assistant who's helping in life because life is just crazy. So you can have different things. You got to be clear on the role.
That's right.
But here's where I think this becomes very important. Is that there has to be a relationship there with chemistry, but they also have the competency, but the character issue is also about confidentiality. I have to trust, because here's how I functioned. I wanted to have such a high trust with that person and build that over time. They see every email. They'll even read every email before I read it and kind of organize what I needed to see and what I needed to do. I even had it where they were on my phone texting for me different things. And so I've got to have a life where there's a trust in there where I can even trust at a level of what can they go home and talk to their spouse about? What can they not? And there has to be a relational understanding there on that. That is a huge deal. So I don't know if I skipped over on that, but in the relationship, those are very important up front. My mistakes, though, were always usually in the chemistry deal.
Yeah. What I do think is important to your question, Mark, is I hear an openness and a willingness that you saw it as a dynamic role that we want to optimize.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. And again, I just don't think that we often have that mindset for whatever reason. I'm not even going to list the reasons because it might be contextual to you, but to have an open-mindedness, there is more if we continue to go. We mentioned this in the other episode, but I think it's helpful to bring back here. Maybe you're at such a place, you're such a high visionary leader, you have a more reactive task-based admin, and you're just scared about, man, I think the divide is really far here. How do we do this? One of my favorite recommendations is to say, bring in that right-hand person, your associate pastor, executive pastor. So rather than going, okay, I'm willing to meet weekly with my assistant and talk through everything, but there's a divide here. Maybe bring in your exec pastor who can be a translator and can hear, okay, I've even been in situations like this where I've just paused and gone, okay, so hang on a second. Real quick, that's the context behind this. We'll catch up after this and I'll just make sure that just make a note about this and cool. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, keep going, pastor. Because otherwise sometimes there's a disconnect. You're going and going and going and there. Hang on a second. So can you go back and you're just like, this is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
I got other things to do.
I like
Sometimes
that.
you need
I like
a translator to be in the middle to be able to help.
Yep.
If you will stay open-minded, realize it more as possible. And I also mentioned this in the other episode, but to what you said about hiring, sometimes you're going to do everything you know to do. You're going to be open-handed. They're going to go and you're going to go, I still don't have the right person. That's okay.
It is okay.
I'm not saying that they're the person. If you just do everything right, that they'll be great. You got to find the right person.
Don't throw out the concept that you need the person.
That's exactly right.
So it's not like, hey, I've already tried 2 people, it didn't work, so forget the whole assistant.
No,
thing.
you have to keep testing it.
That's it.
It's vital. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
You will not be the lead pastor God wants you to be
Yes.
if you do not have a strategic partner, not
right.
just about an executive or staff who's doing these things, but someone who's helping you do what you do.
That's right.
So that you can be set up. I'm telling you, when I have that relationship, when Brittany, who was right there next to me, and we're in that zone, she's anticipating what I need. She's doing things because she's not just learned how to listen to what I'm delegating.
Yes.
She knows how to anticipate, and because she knows the why
That's right.
of what I'm doing.
That's right.
This is how he thinks. This is how he functions. This
That's
is
right.
why we're doing. This is why this is important.
Yep.
And she's able to anticipate. I cannot tell you how many times her ministry has gone before me.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
go
good.
to somewhere
That's good.
and they'll go, oh my gosh, that Brittany, she is amazing. She sets you, she represents you so well.
Yep.
The standard, the value, the way people see me many times is through that interaction
Yes.
and what's going on there.
It's huge. And I love what you're saying. It's a great example of how do we clear the path of non-essential tasks and responsibilities so that you can do what only you can do. You can do more and better ministry that God has called you to do. We've just got to wrap our heads around that. More is possible. You just got to be willing to go after it.
So in order to tie this up today, anything else that you feel like is really important from either one of you to help our leaders understand how powerful this can be in what God has asked them to do?
Can't skip the process.
Yeah.
I think that's so big is that so many people look at somebody who has this, like right now, like that guy saying, man, I wish I had a Linda. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that just happened?
Yeah.
Do you think that was just
It doesn't.
boom? I got Linda in the way it is. How
doesn't.
could that even be? We would never see that and think that in reality, but we think that's how it should happen here.
Yeah.
You should know what I need and without me telling you. You should know relationships have to be built. Trust has to be built. Training has to be done. And I love how you said it may not be, you need a translator. You might need that executive to come in and say, hey, let me tell you what he's saying.
Yeah.
Let me share with you what he's, how to handle this when he's doing that.
Yeah.
Interpret it.
Yeah.
But the process is so worth the doing.
Yeah.
If you get that result where you find that person,
Yeah.
value them, thank them, give them feedback, where they can know how to do better. Let me tell you something. Your assistant or that strategic partner, I find when you have that right, they want to hear they did good and they want to know how to do better.
Yes.
And they want to be valued, where every time I had a win, I would go in and go, guess what we did today?
Yes.
Shared win
good.
is what I just heard you say. Shared win.
Let me tell you what we did today. Come on.
It's huge.
We just won big time.
It's
I'm
huge.
always using it as, it wasn't I did this, we did this.
Yeah.
And doing that causes them to feel like, golly, I love this.
Yeah.
I valued, for me, I had 2 male assistants over 35 years. Great. Nothing wrong. It was good.
Yep.
And so it would be the same thing. And the others were females, and I had probably 10 others like that. 3, I would say, I got there.
Yeah.
Okay. And those were the longest.
good.
Okay.
That's good.
So, but I'm saying this, I always knew their spouse, valued their spouse,
That's
good.
included their spouse.
Yeah.
I always knew their kids' names. When the kids came in to see whoever that person was, I knew him by name, called him in my office. I'd give him treats or hang out with him, or I have a marker board in my office and say, hey, let me see you write your name. I mean, depending on their age.
Yep.
We would go to their sporting games, their sporting events.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, when it gets right, you value them not just as an asset, but as a vital person that you care about
in your life.
Your wife cares about in your life.
It wasn't just they were in a desk. They were in your world and you were in the world. That's really good.
That's right.
Some final words from you on this?
I would just say to any pastor or leader, more is possible if you're willing to open up. I do want you to hear that I don't think it's all on you. But you may have to be willing to invest, whether that is sharing more context, whether that is something, I mean, what we have done with the admin challenge is we've created something that is going to empower your assistant. You don't have to do the work, but you do have to be open-handed and willing to experiment and evaluate. But we really want to give this to assistants to be able to, my whole thing in that is not to say, hey, I know your leader's hard and I know this and they need to do all this. It's let me talk to you, assistant. Here are the things that you need to do. Here's how you talk to your leader. Here's the tools that you need. And it really helps. And so, leader, if you are willing to be open-handed, if you are willing to invest, if you're willing to raise your imagination of what could be, I think you're going to find a different reality than you ever thought possible.
So how do they get into the admin challenge?
They can go to adminchallenge.com. Everything's there. Leaders, even if you're interested in this, we actually have a freebie session pack with a couple of mini sessions you can check out.
Say it again, where is it?
Adminchallenge.com.
Okay, so Pastor, if you're listening right now, this is the challenge I give you. Number one, you are the lead pastor or whoever's listening to this. If you have a strategic partner and you want that, you're the lid to what it could be.
That's right.
Okay. In other words, if you're limiting it to you're my secretary or you're my go-do person, you're not going to be my strategic partner. They can never be that, even if they had the potential to be.
That's right.
You're the lid. But secondly, let's say you cast that vision. How will they live up to the expectation you have of what you wanted to be? Is to get into this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Pastor, right now, the best gift you could give not only to your executive assistant, but to yourself is to get in the admin challenge. I remember, where everything I'm talking about, you may even look at me and go like, golly, I think he kind of gets, I think you're like going, dude, he kind of gets the deal. You know why I got it? Is because I go back to John Maxwell and Linda Eggers. Here's how I know. Is because 30 years ago, John Maxwell put out a teaching. It was in a box with these tapes in there like this. There were
Enjoy
6 tapes. It was Enjoy Life, but it was an outside, I mean, it was not just his monthly deal. It was on the lead pastor and his executive assistant.
Wow.
6 tapes. I got it, Brittany got it, and we walked through it together.
Incredible.
And that's how we learned.
Incredible.
I didn't even know what it could be. She didn't know what it could be. And together we experienced, oh my God, this could be amazing. And it was.
That's so cool.
So, Pastor, I'm challenging you right now. You cast the vision. And then invite them into the admin challenge. And you interact with it. And you will have such an incredible experience of how your ministry could go to another level through this.
So good.
Well, hey, thanks for coming back. We're going to have to keep creating opportunities for you to come back and hang out with us. Thanks, Pastor, for your perspective on this. And hey, if you have something that you would like us to tee up on one of these podcasts, just shoot us an email at that's HEY @readysetgrow.church, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.